Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lovely to see you all here today. My name's Mark Murphy. I'm your host for this afternoon. So very, very special what we're going to hear this afternoon. The 13th Creating the Greenest County Awards. And 13 years ago, I was sitting exactly where you are today. And I was lucky enough to pick up a Greenest County Award 13 years ago for a little anti-litter campaign we ran at the time at BBC Radio Suffolk called Don't Be a Tosser. There's still a few car stickers and posters around and banners. It was very successful. So I'm thrilled that you're here today and you'll hopefully experience what I experienced 13 years ago. And also with Karen down the front here, we won an award back in 2014 for the rubbish diet, didn't we? Which was fantastic. So it's lovely to see you here. We are in for a real treat today. We're going to hear about some amazing people, some amazing things. And it's a celebration today. So what I really want you to do is to shout and cheer and holler and make lots of noise when our winners come up here, when our highly commended and runners-up come up, and our guest speakers as well. Tom Heap is here. I'll introduce Tom especially in a moment or two. But I need you to make lots and lots of noise. Can you do that for me? Oh, I think the children are leading the way here, which is often the way. Are you going to do that for me? Okay, that's fantastic. Well, welcome officially today. And can I just say welcome to Stephen Singleton as well, who's one of our deputy lieutenants here, representing our Lord Lieutenant Claire Euston, who can't be with us today. So Stephen, send our best wishes to her. Also, welcome to the Hold, a building shared by Suffolk County Council and the university that not only is the repository of the county's most important archives, but is also being used to educate future generations. I'm sure you had a chance to have a look around before we came in here today, and if you haven't done, I would urge you to do that because it's a very special place. It's been built also to high environmental standards, and so a very fitting place to host these awards for us for another year today. Now, as I mentioned, this is the 13th time that we've held the Creating the Greenest County Awards, originally launched back in 2007 to not only recognise the environmental contribution of communities, businesses and schools, but also to inspire others to do the same as well. And I hope after today that you will go away and you will talk to people about what you've seen and heard here today, because we are going to see and hear some inspirational stories. And it's really important that we share those stories to other people and we talk about the good things that are going on. Now, I can say this because I'm a Suffolk boy. We don't shout enough in Suffolk about how good we are and what we're doing. So I would urge you to go away and do that. Tweet, Facebook, social media, friends over dinner, talk about what you see and hear as well today. As well as having everybody in the room today, we are also streaming the event online. So we do have an online audience as well. So if you all sort of slightly turn around, the cameras are at the back there. You can give them a little wave to everybody who's watching at home. There we are. Ooh, hello. And as I said, really enjoy the afternoon because we're in for a special treat. First up, and this is your first chance to make a lot of noise, okay? And that's okay. He's done this before, and we raised the roof last time he came up and spoke last year. Would you please make a big round of applause and a cheer for Councillor Richard Rout, who's Deputy Leader and Cabinet Member for Finance and Environment at Suffolk County Council. Richard!
Good afternoon, and on behalf of Suffolk County Council, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the Hold for this awards ceremony. Today is always a fantastic opportunity to celebrate the very best of Suffolk. Our sense of community, our sense of shared endeavour to protect and enhance what makes Suffolk special. Our innovative businesses, the voluntary sector, our schools and young people who are the future of this county. But of course, together we recognise what makes this county such a special place to live, work and do business is our environment. And we are committed to ensuring that this remains the case and that Suffolk remains at the forefront of environmental innovation. As Mark has said, in Suffolk and I think in the UK, we're notoriously bad at shouting about our successes. Last year, emissions were 53% below where they were in 1990, and at the same time, GDP is up 82%. Use of coal is now at its lowest level since the 1730s. The UK is a forerunner to responding to a changing climate, and we are the first major economy to halve our emissions since 1990. And that success is in no small part due to individuals like you in this room today and the passion that you show. But of course, more needs to be done. And at the County Council, we want to lead by example in demonstrating the necessary action. Carbon Negative, Nature Positive is our transformation programme delivering on this commitment. We're working to be net zero across our estate and operations by 2030. At the same time, we're revising our land management to be more nature friendly, supporting enhanced biodiversity across our estate and by 30% by 2030. Since 2022, we've produced a carbon budget, which is a set of data that identifies our carbon emissions or footprint and how much we need to reduce them by to be net zero by 2030. It also identifies actions and costs that we need to take to meet that target. So how are we doing? Some of our achievements include £12.8 million to decarbonise our estate. 2022-23 saw a 29% carbon saving across our 6 largest properties. These buildings have previously represented 70% of our utility-based carbon emissions. We saw a 38% reduction in gas use from our corporate estate, which saved us £800,000 over the programme to date. All of the council's pool cars are now EVs. 37% of our top 100 suppliers have their own net zero targets. Over 250,000 trees were planted between 2021 and 2023. And a programme of support for enhanced biodiversity has started on our tenanted county farms. But it hasn't been easy. The pandemic, the illegal invasion of Ukraine, the energy price spike have put huge pressure not just on the finances of individuals and businesses across Suffolk, but also on us as a local council. Rightly, we've had to focus our efforts on those interventions that save us and our residents money, and at the same time cut carbon. And the fantastic thing is that these interventions aren't just the right thing to do environmentally, but they're the right thing to do financially as well. And the same thing can be said of so many of the things our farming and business community are doing so ably. At the County Council, we continue to work in partnership across the public sector. We're making funding available to support communities in their climate change work and improve the energy efficiency of our precious community facilities, providing targeted support to help communities generate their own energy, using government funding to support households to improve their energy efficiency in their homes, providing businesses with support to reduce their emissions, and putting sustainable transport initiatives in place. We're also engaging with more of our schools, and the Climate Change Partnership are running our second and even bigger Youth Climate Conference later this year at Suffolk 1. We have 21 secondary schools and 250 students booked in to attend and have Chris Packham as our keynote speaker. We've also been fortunate to be awarded large funding pots by the government. This has enabled our EV Ready report and £7.3 million funding to support the rollout of more EV charging infrastructure across the county, focusing on curbside charging points in areas with on-street parking, community charging hubs to add to our 100 plug-in Suffolk charging points, and rapid charging infrastructure improvements. Recently, just last week in fact, the Carbon Charter accredited its 500th unique business, Assington Autos, based in Sudbury. This is the latest business to be awarded the gold level Carbon Charter, and it's one of the most advanced vehicle recycling operations in the country. I must also mention that our government home upgrade funding continues to support our low-income households, making energy efficiency improvements to save emissions and control bills. Finally, I cannot stress enough what a huge part of the Greenest County our agricultural businesses, food production and food and drink sector are. You'll see that reflected in the food that you have later today. Dingley Dell sausages, Sutton Hoo chicken, Suffolk Blue quiche, and of course no event in Suffolk is complete without Baron Bygod from the Fen Farm Dairy in Bungay. So please enjoy the event, enjoy the wonderful Suffolk food, Enjoy your successes. Please, as Mark said, clap hard for our winners, because together you are making Suffolk a better place for us all. Thank you so much.
Richard, thank you very, very much. Now, we are thrilled today to be able to bring you someone you will have seen on your television screens on numerous occasions. He is well known for his work looking at the environment. You may recognise him when he comes up as BBC One Countryfile Presenter. He's a broadcaster, journalist and author. So many strings to his bow, and we're delighted. Please, a big round of applause to our keynote speaker this afternoon. It's Tom Heap, everybody.
Well, thank you very much indeed for that introduction, and thank you for having me here today. I'm so impressed that you are delivering the Greenest County. I don't know if there is a national competition to actually see who can win that, but the fact that you've been calling yourself it for at least 13 years must stand you in good stead. And I think you're right about Suffolk not shouting about itself enough. I always know, there was that question, how do you know you're speaking to someone from Yorkshire? It's because they can never stop bloody telling you. I don't think the same is necessarily true of Suffolk, so do big it up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about where we are with where climate change is, both in reality, in politics, talk about some solutions, and also talk about big questions surrounding land and land use, because it's a particular interest of mine of late, and I think it's relevant to this particularly agricultural county, as Richard mentioned earlier. So the climate change is not a future threat, it's a present reality. Suffolk has had its wettest winter, along with a lot of counties in the UK, and we are seeing punishing results of that. Crops that were planted, rotting in the fields, farmers that have left it for spring planting aren't able to get onto the field. So a real issue in farming, and not just very far from a domestic issue. We're seeing the figures around the world, Antarctic ice shrinking extraordinarily, global temperatures hitting records around the world in 2023. Yes, partly a result of an El Nino event compounding man-made climate change. And of course, sea temperatures themselves really high, and that really matters because in fact the sea has done a lot to absorb the excess energy and heat we've been putting into the climate. And we're seeing that in the risen levels of sea temperature. And in case you didn't care about that, I've just heard today that cocoa has gone up to £10,000 a tonne. Now, a tonne of chocolate might be the average diet, I don't know, but it certainly put up the price of Easter eggs. So if you're trying to get people to care who don't necessarily care about things, they should tell them their chocolate's going to be more expensive. But joking aside, it's happening. I'm sure the council has felt it in the highways, the damage to roads and potholes and things like that. It's happening in rivers, farms, as I mentioned, homes, sewage, water supply, in so many ways. And I think the other way that this is really now relevant to so many people is we've now passed the time when the actions were a future thing. The actions are current. The actions are about how and what we drive, how we heat our homes, how we eat as well. These are now questions for all of us. And yes, we are seeing some pushback on some of these things, because when you ask people to change embedded behaviours, you get some disagreement, let's say. So I was going to say what my personal links to Suffolk. I was actually brought up in Cambridgeshire. I don't know if that earns a boo in these parts, I don't know. But most of what I drank came from Suffolk, because I can tell you Green King and Adnams were frankly mother's milk, at least in my teenage years and forever onwards. I must say I'm particularly partial to a visit to Southwold, and I have been known to the Suffolk Heritage Coast was some of the nearest coastline to me in Cambridge, so I got fairly familiar with the red-trousered dwellers of Aldborough as well in my time. A quick run through, yes, so I do Countryfile, has been mentioned, this is the team. Just of late, I've started a new programme on Radio 4 called Rare Earth, which is their replacement for Costing the Earth, which was the very long-running and respected environment series there. Recently been replaced by this program, Rare Earth. I co-present with someone called Helen Chersky. I think that's going very well. It's a bit more chatty, it's a bit more podcast-based, but has a lot of authority still. Up until very recently, in fact, up until last week, I was presenting a show called The Climate Show with Tom Heap on Sky News. That's now been cancelled as of last week. And I bring up that personal pain partly because it illustrates something that is happening a little bit in politics, which is most weird, which is that in central government politics, climate and environment has taken a dip in its prominence. There is apathy. There is a feeling that the electorate don't care, which is not borne out by any surveys or not borne out by rooms like this. But it has definitely fallen off the perch, and that's not just the current government. The opposition as well, parties are no longer putting climate and environment in the shop window. I think this was partly driven by feeling that people care more about the cost of living. You only have to stop for a moment to realise the prime driver of the cost of living crisis was the high price of gas and our addiction to it. So it always seemed to me screamingly obvious that the answer was the same to both the climate crisis and the cost of living crisis, something that seems to have evaded some of our politicians. That was, I say, what seems to me rather obvious. The other thing that's going to guide what I talk about today is a couple of books that I'm involved in. One future one. This is coming out later this year. This is why I said I was very keen on land use, because I've been looking at that, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But also one that came out a couple of years ago and was linked to a radio series, 39 Ways to Save the Planet. It was all about climate change solutions, and it was a more kind of positive, optimistic look. Just going back to what Richard said a moment ago, there are actually some great successes in terms of climate, not least, every time we switch on the lights, there's half as much carbon in it as there was 30 plus years ago. And there are some great things. We weren't doing enough to celebrate the successes that are happening. And this wasn't so much a series about what you can do in your own lives, although there was some relevance to that. It was more championing the amazing people who are doing some great things. So I just want to talk about one or two of those. One of the things was, one of the big, or probably the biggest thing that will take a bite out of our carbon emissions is actually expanding things that are already working. The big ones being solar and wind energy. And one of the things we looked at was so we're trying to find new stories within, if you like, a fairly familiar setting. So this is Bladebug. This is a turbine inspection and repair robot that can crawl up a big tower, and this is particularly for use offshore, because the big cost offshore installation is, still a big deal, but 40% of the cost of running offshore turbines comes from maintenance and operation. That's because it's a very hostile environment for humans. It's dangerous, it's expensive, it's windy, it's salty, it's high, it's inaccessible, it's all those kind of things that make it a challenging place for humans to work. This was partly developed with NASA, who are used to working for technologies which were inaccessible for humans. So the idea of this is that, as I say, it can climb up, look for cracks and pits and things like that, and do a basic fill and polish job. Now, you may think, well, how come that's needed on a wind turbine? On a big wind turbine, the actual tip of the blade, if you've ever looked at the tip of a blade and followed it round, they look sort of slow and languid up to a point. The tip of those blades in a reasonable wind can be moving at 190 miles an hour. So when you hit rain or salty particles, things like that, you get pitting pretty quickly. So it's a bit like the sort of a robotic equivalent of a turbine brushing its teeth. You get and sort the problem early before you get a really, really big cavity. Now, I know offshore turbines are not only going to be a big solution for our climate, for our carbon emissions, and they're also quite controversial here in Suffolk because they require pylon lines to run somewhere across your county. As I said, changes will be needed, and when change, you do get winners and losers when you change the ecosystem, something that has to be managed with consideration and care and imagination. I mentioned this was a radio series. One of the other things that comes out in the book and in the series was how many what I call collateral benefits that come out of a lot of these solutions that aren't just about the climate. This one is actually about seagrass, which is the growth of, it's not actually a seaweed, it's a photosynthetic grass that grows under the See, it's very, very good for absorbing carbon, but it also has a fantastic collateral benefit of providing a habitat, and particularly a nursery for marine life. So it is really, really important. This is my colleague Anne-Marie showing how you do proper radio. You get thoroughly stuck in there. I'd like to say I was actually wobbling around in a wetsuit like this guy, but in this case I was taking the picture as well. This is off the coast of Wales. So getting more seagrass, planting it, stopping it disappearing, a key solution. All these things are built up. There's no magic bullets in all these things. It's all okay, magic buckshot, lots of little things that will help us get to where we want to be. This is an illustration of building with wood. Building with wood is a great idea. Look at it, plenty here. Because you not only do you absorb carbon as it grows, and you lock it up. And there is a real fashion is probably the wrong word, a real move to get more of this in our buildings. In France, they've got a rule that at least 50% of public buildings must be made of timber or something that absorbs carbon to the equivalent way. And there is a great passion for tall wooden buildings, which are known as ply scrapers. This one is in Austria, I think. The Grenfell fire had a slightly chilling effect on our appetite for building with wood, certainly above a certain height. Not that there was any wood involved in the cause of the Grenfell fire, but in issue of flammable materials. All the tests that are done on wood, if you do it properly, you still have to pass the same fire regulations as anything else. So it's a really, really interesting material and has a collateral benefit, the forests you grow it in. And nowadays, that actually productive forests in much of Europe, you have to plant more than you cut down, so you end up with more forest than you had before you cut. Another example of something with amazing collateral benefits, which we featured in the program, which I find particularly interesting, is educating girls. Now, educating girls around the world is obviously a good thing in and of itself. It improves agency, it improves knowledge, it improves quality, it improves economic potential of the young women involved, but it also has the effect of reducing average family size. In sub-Saharan Africa, the average family size of a girl who's only educated to, say, age 11 is about 6 children per family. For a woman who's educated to at least 16 to secondary level, that goes down to 3. Now, I know population is a controversial issue within environmental circles. We get equally criticised for avoiding it, as some people criticise us for making too much attention, because there is no doubt if you're a poorer person, you use a lot less resources than we do. Whose babies who is it that's having too many babies? Is it us, or is it other places around the world? Nevertheless, it is important to acknowledge that population is a factor in environment and climate change, and the World Bank has calculated if we could get secondary education to women basically throughout the world, it would reduce world population by 2050 by 800 million. Now that's 10%. That's a big figure, and I think it's relevant. But of course, it's also relevant because all the incredible other collateral benefits that I mentioned before. So a really interesting one we looked at there. We also looked at some unexpected ones. Rice. This is Smita Kurup, and she is a researcher at Rothamsted, which is a plant research place in Hertfordshire. She's working on rice that doesn't grow in paddy fields, it grows in dry fields. Paddy fields are a big emitter of methane. In fact, not second to beef, but you'll have heard a lot about livestock and beef and their methane emissions. Rice globally is not as big, but it's actually not that far behind because of the methane emissions that come from paddy fields. Smita's a brilliant biotechnologist who is working on ways of producing rice. And she's not just working in the UK, she has partners in Punjab and the Philippines and places like that. We also looked at some controversial ones. This is Giles Aldroyd, who's working on genetic modification of cereals in Cambridge. Now, people have different views about genetic modification. One of the things he's working at is that is in effect wheat and maize that wouldn't need fertilizer. It's self-fertilizing. It works like a legume. It takes nitrogen out of the atmosphere. If you can do that, that's a huge change. So a lot of interesting areas there. Now, I mentioned that I wanted to look at land use because Now we are seeing a real space race out there, by which I mean everyone wants land to do so many things. I spoke to a farmer at the beginning of this book. He said, I've got loads of people coming up my drive wanting to use my land. Some of them want to use it for carbon storage. Some of them want to use it for energy generation. Some of them want to use it to create a battery park. Some of them even want it to create a dog exercise area. And all of them pay more than I'd get for growing food on the land. Now, this is a real issue and an unresolved issue as we go forward. So how we decide what we're going to do with our land, and that's before obviously you come to land for nature, 30 by 30 mentioned earlier. That's 30% of our country devoted or managed at least partially for nature by 2030. You know, recreation, houses, roads, etc., etc. So so this is mentioned. So recently we had the government talking about its farm payments, its sustainable farming incentive, and they actually recently reduced the amount that you could claim for not growing food on your land, because they were worried. They only did this about a week or two ago. They were worried about too much being land taken out of production because it was paying farmers more to do this than to do that. And without a restriction, a lot of farmers would do all this, which is great in some ways, but we've got to think about where our food comes from, because we can't, we can't afford, we can financially afford. What do you gain if you push all your food demand overseas? What do you gain internationally in terms of nature or in terms of climate if you're demanding land elsewhere produces your food? This is a farmer in Northamptonshire who shows it can be done. This is Duncan Farrington. And by using a lot of cover crops and a lot of companion crops, keeping plants on the land all the time, he is able to absorb a lot of carbon in the field alongside producing a crop. And as it says, this field is absorbing enough carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere every year to offset the emissions from 200 medium-sized family cars on UK roads. Across the whole farm, 270 hectares, it's 2,700 cars. So it can be done, but it needs a lot of thought. I'm going to nip over this because I haven't got very much time, but this is to do with rock dust. This is to do with spreading rock particles on your field, which is not only a good soil conditioner, it also absorbs carbon dioxide. And that's it being spread on the field and me having a dramatic picture taken. And actually it was I slightly regretted it. It was a bit like shrapnel coming out of this tractor on one side. I wanted to talk about this because these are a controversial use of land. This one is actually owned by West Suffolk Council, I believe, and is generating quite a lot of money for the council. I think 2 or 3 million a year. So there's a big issue about whether we should have solar on our land. And I just want to point out a couple of things. And people talk a lot about food versus fuel. You have to remember that land is already used for an awful lot of things that are not food. Horses, turf farms, flower farms, dog exercise areas, as I mentioned earlier, golf courses, Christmas trees. And the biggest one that you probably don't notice are these, biofuels. 5 times as much land is used for to plant biofuels. That's things like maize, frequently oilseed rape, things like that, as is used for solar. And it is a woefully inefficient creator of energy in comparison to a solar panel. A solar panel is about between 20 and 50 times better per unit area at creating energy than biofuels. So I think we should be careful about putting solar on the best agricultural land, but we also need to take a bit of a bigger picture about how it fits in. There are other places you can put solar. You can float it around the world. This is a really very big deal, floating solar, because of particularly where land use competition is very tight. Southeast Asian cities, stuff like that. Part of places of Africa, they got it to go well with hydroelectric dams, which is a really interesting idea. There are some places you see it in the UK, but not that much. I think it's a really nice, really sensible idea. Domestic solar as well. This is my array at home. The only reason I mention this, people sometimes think that it's quite small what you can do with an array at home. This is a standard 4 kilowatt array. This is basically what you're allowed at home. I worked out that provides enough energy to drive 2 family cars the average distance that they do in a year. So the idea that it's small on your home is not quite true in comparison with the amount of energy we use. It's actually quite a big thing. So I'd encourage anyone to get that. This is just a figure that from my rather dirty inverter that backs up that figure. But of course, it would be fantastic. Everyone says, and rightly, this is a really good place for solar panels. We've seen these things mushrooming everywhere. We could really get solar panels on top of those. And to be fair, the lady who runs the UK Warehousing Association is very, very keen on this. The figures are quite staggering. If we put solar panels on all our big warehouses, it's something like close to the government's target of 5 times the amount of, not true. I think it's half the government's target of 5 times the amount of solar by 2035. There is really big real estate up there. It's shocking we don't use it. There are various reasons to do with grid connections, and some of them are good reasons. Some of them are a bit, let's bang some heads together and make this happen kind of reasons, but obviously a great idea. Now I'm whistling through because I just want to get a chance to have some not pointless celebrity, but particular celebrity. He's a bit distant in this picture. The man I got to write the foreword and contribute to my book, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the reason I got him was I wanted someone who was a little bit outside the normal green thinking box, but did have real pedigree in green things. And he does, because as governor of California, he had put in a million solar roofs, real targets for renewable energy, cutting carbon, all those kind of things. But he did it he is a Republican, although very, very far from a Trump Republican. And he reached across the aisle and wanted to make it work. So I was interested to know how he would make things, would phrase things. I also got a chance to show him how exercise should be done. It was very funny, and he was generous with his time. Although in the gym he suddenly got this kind of different mentality. It's like the pumping iron mentality, and he was pretty dismissive of my efforts. But he at least gave us some time. If you type in Arnold Schwarzenegger on climate change into BBC iPlayer, you can see the documentary he made. It was really fun. Anyway, I want to talk. So he had the first one to say is and this is relevant to land use, relevant to us. What is the position of changing our behaviours? Is it all about solutions out there? Is it about changing our behaviours? Maybe what we eat, how we eat, all those kind of things. And I put it to him that had he given anything up.
I have reduced meat intake. I would say around 70% or 80%.
Is that not giving up something?
No, I gained something. I gained my health. It gave me an extra 2 years. Now I just have to stop smoking, and then it's really, I'm home free.
So that was about the position of giving stuff up. And the other one was, whether or not it affects the economy. Obviously, quite a controversial, well, no, not controversial, I think quite a discussed moment right now, whether going green is good for the economy, bad for the economy. He points out that when he was in California, he has pretty strong views about what it did for the economy.
So all of those countries that come and give speeches that we're not going to go and lose jobs because of going green and all this, they're liars. They're just stupid and they don't know how to do it, because we figured it out how to do it. They can figure it out how to do it. And it's all about having the balls to do it.
Right. So the point being that while he was governor of California and introducing these rules, that the economy grew far quicker than the United States average. So that was just a bit of a whistle through where I am. I hope some of those things, particularly with relation to land and what we need to start thinking about with how we use our land and how we work with land-based businesses, how we look at energy and carbon storage and nature and all these kind of things in the round. I hope that's helped in some way sort of frame some thoughts for you. And I just want to say, by the way, this is just a pretty picture, I'm just enormously impressed by the fact that you have got these awards that celebrate not only issues to do with climate, but most importantly nature, access, getting people together with things. And while some in the country may have lost faith slightly with the environmental message, I'm delighted to hear that it's pounding and beating as strongly as ever here in Suffolk. And beautiful awards too. Thank you very much indeed.
Tom, thank you so very, very much for that. It was absolutely inspiring. We don't boo anybody from Cambridge here, Tom. It's only if they come from Norfolk. Apologies to anybody who comes from Norfolk. And also, like any good journalist, Tom is always looking for good stories. And it would be really nice, Tom, perhaps if on one of your broadcasts, you could come and cover some of the stories that we hear about today to help us shout a little bit more about what we do here, which would be absolutely fantastic. So, Tom, thank you very much. Give him another round of applause, everybody. Fantastic. So, without further ado, let's start presenting the awards. I've been told that this year was incredibly difficult to judge, as not only was the standard of entries extremely high, but we had such a large number of schools, businesses, and communities wanting to take part. So, the very fact that you're here this afternoon is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So are you ready? Yes. Are you sure? Yes, let's do it. Let's move on. We'll start with the education categories. We had such a huge response from Suffolk schools and colleges with 29 entries in total. Therefore, we have, for the second year running, split the category into two. So let's begin with Junior Education, Key Stages 1 to 2. And would you please welcome on stage our award sponsor, Chris Abbott from Spring, to award the Junior Education Award. Chris, come and join us. Really good to see you. Thank you very much for coming along. And you brought a friend.
I have. I'll just say I invited Sarah Wayner, my fellow judge, up to say that Sarah's school has previously won this award, and she knows far better than I how difficult it is for schools to dedicate resource, budget, to encouraging our young people to focus on sustainability and environment. So yeah, I was really keen to invite Sarah up.
Welcome as well. Good to see you. Thanks for all the work you do. So the nominations in this category are Heath Primary School, Carlton Colville Primary School, White House Community Primary School. Let's have a little look at them.
Heath Primary School are encouraging children to be eco-conscious and are proud to have been awarded the Green Flag with distinction. We're passionate about integrating green topics into every corner of our curriculum.
We care for our wildlife and have adopted rabbits, chickens and ducks.
We've really worked to reduce our plastic usage and waste. We were really proud to be Suffolk's first plastic clever school. We've worked with our community by hosting local litter picks.
We recycle all sorts here: plastic, paper, cars, clothing, shoes, books, batteries, and crisp packets. Families can bring these here, helping us make a green impact together.
We do lots of outdoor learning, forest school activities and gardening here. Our produce is then sold to our families. We host walks to school days to encourage our families to drive less.
We're Primary School. We're proud to be green.
We're a large primary school in Carlton Colville Lowestoft, and we have been passionately transforming our large grounds into biodiverse havens.
Our collaboration with organisations like Wildside Education, Suffolk Wildlife Trust, Hedgehog Friendly Campus, Suffolk Bird Group and the Tree Council has led us to remarkable green spaces.
Through an outdoor curriculum, every child explores nature in woodlands, meadows, allotment and our wildlife area.
Bird boxes attract swifts, a small orchard thrives, and our award-winning allotment, cared for by our children, teachers and volunteers, grows diverse fruits and vegetables.
Some children have taken responsibility to teach others about nature. They have run limestone clubs and created videos promoting the different habitats and animals living among us.
Our aim is to continue to encourage more of our local community and other schools to have a love for nature and to commit to help a flourishing future.
White House Community Primary School is a key player in Suffolk's challenge to become the greenest county. At our school, we're all like eco-superheroes. Here, we actively promote and celebrate sustainability, engage children in environmental education, and implement green practices. From inspiring eco-conscious habits like saving electricity and using less paper in school to promoting recycling within our community through art, White House Community Primary School is sowing the seeds for a greener future for Suffolk. At our school, we have an inspiring eco committee who helps with activities like restoring our eco areas, hosting art exhibitions, and promoting recycling schemes throughout the school. Our school is a champion for being eco-friendly, and we want everyone to join us in making Suffolk a green place to live.
Wow, our nominations, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic. Amazing stuff. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you. I'm sure every judge will say that their category was really difficult to judge, which I'm sure it absolutely was, but there were a huge number of applicants for this particular award, so we had a lot of reading to do. And the 3 schools that were here today were absolutely all outstanding. And we couldn't give the award to all 3, but I only wish we could. But the winner is Heath Primary School.
Come on down, Heath Primary School. Come on, everybody, come on down, as they used to say on The Price is Right. Come on the stage over here. We're going to hear a few words. We're going to hear a few words from our winners. Well done, Heath Primary.
Okay, so I wasn't expecting to say anything.
Everybody else who wins now is.
So obviously, like any school, everything we do is for our young children and their future. And everything we do at Heath comes from our children. Any eco initiative we have has come from them. It's all their ideas. So this really is their accomplishment. So well done, you lot.
Brilliant. Time for the obligatory photograph. There we go, well done. There are some steps there. Yep, time for the photograph. Let me tell you a little bit about Heath Primary School. Now, Heath Primary has delivered an incredibly broad range of environmental activities, from introducing energy monitors and wildlife ambassadors to being awarded the first plastic clever school in Suffolk and working with the local community in several areas. The judges all agreed that Heath Primary has a really strong pupil action focus and curriculum design, very inspiring. Well done, say the judges. So they are our winners today. Big smiles. Fantastic. Give another round of applause, our winners, Heath Primary. Let's recognise also the achievements of the highly commended schools, whose achievements have had a fantastic response from the judges as well. You did very, very well to make it here today. So please, could you give a massive round of applause to our 2 runners-up here, Carlton Colville Primary School and White House Community Primary. Come on down. Photograph time, everybody, big smiles. Yeah, I think you're all going to pile in together. So Carlton Colville Primary School, White House Community Primary. Well done. Thank you, Chris, for your support as well from Spring. Next up, it's higher education, key stages 3 to 5. And to present the awards back onto stage, would you give a big welcome to Councillor Richard Rout, everybody? Don't open the envelope just yet, Richard. Got to build the tension. The nominees are the West Suffolk College Eastern Education Group, Farlingay High School and Suffolk New College. Let's have a look.
Eastern Education Group helps shape and deliver education across 15,000 students across the region, from primary through to those accessing university, apprenticeships and professional development in the workplace. The group has the community at the heart of all its initiatives, aiming to integrate sustainability into every aspect of our business through creative teaching, networks and operational practice. We strive to empower our community to contribute positively to local and global sustainability challenges, leading by example to create meaningful change towards a more sustainable future.
Farlingay is a vibrant hub of learning, innovation and community spirit, where we prepare our students for the opportunities and challenges of their lifetimes.
Perhaps the greatest of these challenges is the climate and biodiversity emergencies.
At Farlingay, we encourage sustainability through our weekly recycling scheme carried out by over 70 tutor groups.
Our pen recycling, LED lighting and soon-to-be installed solar panels. Each year, we run a cross-curricular One Planet Week, and this year's theme was environmental eating.
Our school production later this month, The Little Mermaid, features coral reefs made from recycled materials, turtle puppets made from single-use plastics, and even Ursula's costume will be made from black bin bags.
We encourage our students to build relationships with the natural world through nest recording, bird ringing, moth and mammal recording in our wildflower meadow.
We're passionate about improving the environment at Farlingay, and doing so is one of our priorities over the year ahead.
Hello, I'm Emma Taylor. I'm the Director of Business Development and Major Projects at Suffolk New College. Suffolk New College is one of the major education providers in the region. We were named the FE Provider of the Year at the Suffolk Education Awards, and we're also the winner of the Association of Colleges Beacon Award for Education for Sustainable Development in 2023-4. We're really proud to be a major education provider in Suffolk and really proud to be a leader in the field of sustainability for our region. I think it's especially important to give young people the values and the skills and understanding of climate change they need to be able to embed sustainability in all of their future careers. And we do that through a wide range of activities in college, embedding sustainability in everything we do.
Our fantastic nominees, everybody. So, Richard.
Once again, I know that this is an incredibly hard category to judge, and in the role I hold, I've had the pleasure of visiting many schools, colleges, educational facilities across the county, and I'm never more optimistic about the future of our planet, our county, our country, than when I'm speaking to our young people and the inspirational teachers that lead them. But I know that today there can only be one winner, and that winner is West Suffolk College Eastern Education Group.
Congratulations, well done. Who's going to say a few words?
Okay, so I haven't prepared anything for today, so you just have to bear with me, but it's a very proud moment to stand up here, especially with being a student at the college as well and sort of working part of the Eastern Education Group. And to try and carry this message across a group of colleges in general is quite a hard task. But it's really easy when you've got people to carry the passion with you. So thank you so much for this. And we will definitely keep going with the message that we're trying to carry. So thank you very much.
Brilliant, well done. Fantastic. West Suffolk College Eastern Education Group has seamlessly integrated environmental education into their curriculum, surpassing conventional methods with 136 staff members trained in carbon literacy and a pupil authoring a children's book on recycling. Their dedication stands out. That's what the judges had to say about West Suffolk College Eastern Education Group. Well done. Congratulations. Let's now recognise the achievements of the highly commended entrants who are definitely an exemplar for others to follow as well. Would you please come to the stage, Farlingay High School and Suffolk New College. What do you think, Tom? Some good stories so far for you? Cheesy grins, everybody. Well done to our highly commended to everybody. Farlingay High School, Suffolk New College. Fantastic job that you're all doing. Let's move on now to celebrate the work of our local businesses across the county who play a crucial role in promoting environmental awareness to customers, clients, staff, suppliers, and also beyond. We begin with small business. And could I please welcome Ben Feltham from McCann to present the award for small business. Come and join us, Ben. Give him a round of applause. Thank you, Ben. Now, this award celebrates small businesses whose actions have had a significant and clear positive environmental impact in their own operations and beyond. The nominations are Lickety Ice and the Radical Waste Group. Let's hear more.
I'm Bex from Lickety Ice in Lowestoft. We make handcrafted, small batch ice lollies with real fruit and fresh natural ingredients. Our lollies are wrapped in plastic-free NatureFlex, a plant-based home compostable film. We invented compost boxes to collect used wrappers and sticks, which we then feed slowly into our composting facility, along with all the waste fruit and peelings from our lolly making. This compost is then used in our gardens to produce more lovely fruit for our lollies. In 2023, we prevented more than 30,000 wrappers going into landfill, and this is increasing every year as we grow our composting project with new stockists.
We're at Radical Waste. We're a small company with a big vision, to be a globally influencing company that drives change through self-sustainable recycling and commodity recovery and attempt to end waste with all that we do. The business model is simple. Be brave, be different, do better. We offer a zero to landfill and full recycling and commodity recovery solution and have supported the likes of Suffolk County, Suez and Biffa to remove waste from landfill in the area. Be radical, redefine possible.
Our nominees, everybody, well done. So Ben, the big moment.
On behalf of Joe McCann, we're delighted to be sponsoring this award, and the winner is Radical Waste.
Radical Waste Group. Congratulations. Have you decided who's going to?
I'm amazed actually. So thank you very much. I took over the business back in 2015, and we've grown the business slowly, but it starts to change quite quickly now. And it is what we say we're doing. So thank you very much, and it's a real privilege to be here.
Well done. Congratulations. Stand for a photo. This is what the judges had to say. They are a pioneering company that is taking strong action to minimise their impact. Achieving zero waste to landfill is an amazing achievement. The judges were particularly impressed with the tackling of waste so that customers can measure and thus manage the waste that they're creating. This would have a huge impact nationally if only others would follow their lead. They say well done. So well done indeed to the Radical Waste Group. Fantastic. Congratulations. Well done. And could you give a big round of applause as we invite to pick up their highly commended certificate, Lickety Ice, everybody. Congratulations, Lickety Ice. Well done. Next we move on to business, and could you please welcome to stage the award sponsor and last year's business winner, Professor Mohammed Azbaz of the University of Suffolk, to present the award for business. Good to see you again. Now, this award celebrates larger businesses whose actions have had a significant and clear positive environmental impact, not only on their own operations, but also influencing their supply chain and customers too. The nominations are the Suffolk Building Society and Muntons PLC. Let's have a look.
Suffolk Building Society has been a cornerstone of the community since 1849. Originally founded to help people buy enough land to enable them to vote, our mission to provide safe homes continues today. As a mutual society, we know the importance of protecting our environment, supporting local communities, and acting with integrity. We have an ambitious target to be carbon neutral in our own operations by 2030. This will only be achieved if we work with staff and our members on decarbonisation initiatives that make a real impact. Our plan to get there includes launching green financial products, which incentivise people to retrofit their homes. We're supporting Suffolk Wildlife Trust with its nature reserve, Martlesham Wilds. And finally, we have a comprehensive plan to continue lowering our energy usage throughout our own operations. Last year, we were here as sponsors of the Community Award, and it's thrilling to be back here once again, this time as finalists. Congratulations to all who are working so hard to make Suffolk the greenest county.
Muntons have proudly been producing world-class malt and malted ingredients for over 100 years. We are the world's greenest maltster, producing 100% sustainable malt, carbon emissions 62% lower than it was 10 years ago. Our sustainability vision is rooted in collaboration and spans across the whole supply chain from seed to sip. This whole supply chain ethos has meant we've been awarded EcoVadis Platinum for the second year running, putting us amongst the top 1% most sustainable businesses in the world. We're passionate about malt, driven by sustainability and dedicated to a better future, working together all the way. Cheers.
Give them a round of applause, our nominees.
So thank you, Mark, and I just wanted to say that sustainability is at the heart of everything we do here at the University of Suffolk, not only the work we do through our state colleagues and led by Justin, but also our research work, which is through the Suffolk Sustainability Institute, which is a joint venture with Suffolk County Council. And we're very proud to win the award last year by reducing our carbon emission by 76%. So this year's winner is Muntons PLC.
Muntons. say a word or two?
Hi. So Muntons has been around for over 100 years, and for many of those years, sustainability has been core to what we do. And hopefully that will be the case for many more years to come. We are a global business, but we do understand that what we do close to home is equally as important. So for us to get this award, it really does mean a lot. Thank you.
Congratulations, well done. While they have their photograph, let me tell you what the judges had to say. Muntons demonstrates an embedded approach, conscientiously measuring and managing emissions to fulfil their carbon reduction commitments. Judges were impressed that Muntons engaged their suppliers and staff in the process as well. Well done. Congratulations, Muntons. And could you keep the applause going as we invite to the stage for a photograph and to get their certificate, highly commended entrant, and that is the Suffolk Building Society. Fantastic, well done. We now move on to the community category, and would you please welcome onto stage to present the award Emma Dixon from the Suffolk Climate Change Partnership. Emma. Now, this award recognises that people working together to identify issues and develop local solutions is critical to our goal to create the greenest county and a vital cog in the machine to live in a more sustainable world. The nominations are Old Hall Community and the Hadley Environmental Action Team, or HEAT for short. Here they are.
So climate change is coming, isn't it? And it's coming fast, so we've got to start doing stuff about it right now. And that's what HEAT is all about. It's about 300 people in Hadley who all think that climate change is important. And we've started 10 or 12 projects, a climate cafe, a forest school, volunteering with local farmers, monitoring the river. And now we're starting with a brand new campaign to try and get everybody in Hadley to net zero as soon as we can. So we kick that off in April, and we hope it's going to be a really great success.
Old Hall is a community of about 50 people living and working together in an old listed house on 60 acres of land within the Devonshire Vale. We hold an ecological and community-based ethic and farm for the benefit of humans, wildlife and the environment. We are extending the reach of Old Hall into Suffolk communities by providing funded experiences in rural and ecological skills that bring people and the environment together through a deep engagement with the natural world.
So our nominees, give them a round of applause. So, Emma.
Okay, thank you. So the Suffolk Climate Change Partnership has actually been in existence for over 17 years, which is how long our councils have been working together to combat climate change. And for the last 18 months, we've been working tirelessly with our communities through our dedicated community support officer, Claire Ling, who is somewhere out there. Have a wave. And in the last 12 months, she's worked with and advised a staggering 156 communities in Suffolk. And so the partnership is very proud to be the sponsor in kind of this year's Community Award. And well done to all of you out there. You are all winners. It was a really hard category to judge. We had an awful lot of entrants. So the award for this year goes to Hadley Environmental Action Team.
Anybody who does this work knows how much work it is, and this is amazing. So thank you so much. But our biggest thanks goes to the people of Hadley. Nothing ever happens without communities being involved and thinking about the decisions they make. Everything Heat has done has been initiated by and involving our local community. So this goes to all the fantastic people of Hadley and our 300 odd members of Heat. And thank you, everybody.
Brilliant. Well
And
done.
it's full
Yes, photograph time. Well done, congratulations. Fantastic when a community comes together in this way. The panel was impressed by the wide range of activities and projects that Heat have been undertaking. There was something for everyone, and the group has a real sense of energy and commitment. They have a focus on both people and the environmental area, which the judges feel is key to helping Suffolk reach net zero. Big smiles, cheesy grins. Well done, the Heat team. Brilliant. And could you continue the applause, please, for our highly commended entrant, Old Hall Community. Well done, many congratulations, fantastic. Next is the waste reduction and recycling category. Could you please welcome onto stage the award sponsor for the second year running, James Clark from Suez Recycling. James. Here to present the award for waste reduction and recycling. Now, this award was open to any organisation or individual who has taken an innovative approach towards waste reduction, reuse, recycling or upcycling. It's great to be celebrating the efforts of these two nominees who are doing so much to prevent valuable resources from being wasted. The nominations are OBCIC, that's the Orchard Barn Environmental Education Centre, and Tools with a Mission. Let's find out more.
Here at Orchard Barn, we run courses in traditional building. In the last year, we've diverted 3.8 tonnes of our neighbours' subsoil from landfill. We've mixed it by hand with 204 bales of straw to make 7.6 tonnes of insulation for our new education facility, which is a reinstatement of a 1580 timber frame longhouse.
The environment, recycling and sustainability is at the heart of what Tools with a Mission does. We are an Ipswich-based charity that collects unwanted tools, recycles and refurbishes them for reuse, and then sends them to the developing world for livelihood creation. In doing so, we make a significant contribution to environmental sustainability by reducing waste and carbon emissions here in Suffolk and across the UK.
Our nominees, well done. James.
Yeah, like everyone else said, it's really difficult to judge these awards and come to a winner. I can't even remember who won, so it's going to be a surprise to me when I open it. But yeah, there's some really great work. I deal with residual waste all the time, but the amount of wide-ranging things that are going on with waste was really good to see. So let's see who the winner is, because I'm excited. The winner is OBCIC.
Well done. to say a few words? Don't drop it.
It's true. We build with earth and we build with trees. And I'm really pleased to say that some of the trees that we build with are coppiced trees and they will regrow. So a coppiced tree will lock up 2 to 3 times the carbon of a standard tree. So our shingle roof is a sweet chestnut roof, 20,000 shingles. We are actively needing extra help with that, so we can provide free training for our volunteers. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for choosing us. But really, it's our volunteers, some of whom are watching at home, that we'd like to thank for coming each week, making shingles, making things with earth and straw, and keeping going. But also, thank you to our funders for enabling us to do the 17 years worth of work that we have done. Thank you.
Fantastic, well done. Yeah, it's photo time now. While we're sorting out the photo, let me tell you a little bit more about our winners today. The Waste Reduction and Recycling Judging Panel were hugely impressed with OBCIC's award submission. It was clear that much effort had gone into ensuring their work had a low impact on the environment, using natural and sustainable resources, reusing materials wherever possible, and ensuring any waste products were put to good use. The panel also noted the use of materials from local suppliers, as well as the engagement with a range of volunteers, local businesses, and excellent outreach work, both on and offline as well. So well done, congratulations. And the highly commended in this category, keep the applause going, Tools with a Mission. Fantastic, well done, congratulations. Next, it's Enhancing Biodiversity and Landscape. And would you please welcome to stage Henry Fenn from Milestone to present the award for Enhancing Biodiversity and Landscape. Come and join us, Henry. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It doesn't get more important than work to protect our natural environment. Whilst we need to support habitats and wildlife for their own sake, we shouldn't forget they literally support our way of life. They deliver clean water, healthy soils, protection from flooding, pollination for crops, as well as providing people with that vital contact with the natural world, which is so important for our own mental health. The nominations in this category are Bungay Town Council and the Bury Water Meadows Group. Let's have a look.
Annis Hill Green is a community meadow and open space. We are a community-based project supported by Bungay Town Council, converting a former school playing field into a wildflower meadow and open space. The green has mown paths with a central mown circle surrounded by planted native trees, set aside for community activities. This long-term project is run by volunteers, increasing biodiversity as well as offering our community a beautiful open space for enhancing well-being, promoting health and educational opportunities.
Bury Water Meadows Group came together in 2013 to safeguard a piece of arable land that's been in continuous arable production. It's called the Leg of Mutton. We've been doing conservation work in the meadows since 2017, and last year we collaborated with the Suffolk Wildlife Trust to make a backwater habitat for the endangered water vole.
Our nominees in this category. So Henry, come up to those microphones. Come and stand in the middle of those mics so people can hear you at home as well. That's it.
Yeah, so on behalf of Milestone Infrastructure, it's an absolute pleasure to be here today, and I am pleased to announce that the 2024 winner of the Enhancing Biodiversity and Landscape Award is Bury Water Meadows Group.
join us on stage. Congratulations. Berry Watermeadows Group, fantastic. Fantastic. So who's going to tell us a little bit more about what you do? You can, she says.
Thank you very much for this. Fantastic. We're very lucky in Bury St Edmunds to have 2 chalk streams running through the town and associated water meadows. And thanks to our fantastic volunteers, we do our best to keep them vibrant and alive and biodiverse for people to enjoy, but more importantly, perhaps, wildlife. And as Gillian will have said in the video, we've made some water vole habitat this year. It's a very exciting project, and we hope to continue to do much more of that in the future. Thank you.
Congratulations, well done. What did the judges say? Well, they said the Berry Watermeadows Group engages in high-impact conservation efforts across multiple sites, notably supporting the water vole, a species of high priority. Their future plans demonstrate a commitment to enhancing access and fostering continued community engagement as well. Our winners in the Enhancing Biodiversity and Landscape category. Well done, congratulations. And could we also welcome to receive their highly commended award, Bungay Town Council. This is Paul, by the way, who's taking the photographs. Hello, Paul. Cheese. Fantastic. Well done. Congratulations. Right, we move on to tourism next, and to present the award, would you please welcome onto stage David Watson from the Wolsey Theatre, the new Wolsey Theatre in Ipswich. Thank you, David, very much. It's the second year we've run this category, which looks to celebrate the ever-growing tourism sector in Suffolk. Now, we love to welcome visitors to our wonderful county and want to celebrate those businesses that are doing their best to minimise the environmental impacts and also educate and inspire their guests whilst they're here. And I've always felt it's a really delicate balance, this one, isn't it? We want people to come and love and enjoy what we have here, but we don't want them to rock up and spoil it. So it's really important that tourism is sustainable and looks after the green environment. The nominations are the Longshot Museum and the Bilderston Crown. Let's have a look.
The Longshot Museum occupies what remains of the Richard Garrett engineering works in Leiston. In the 19th and 20th century, Garretts were a leading manufacturer of agricultural machinery and steam engines. They continually increased their efficiency of the machines while developing engines that would operate with alternative fuels such as straw, coconut husks and sugarcane waste. Today, the Longshot Museum honours their legacy through our commitment to minimising our environmental impact. Working with our energy suppliers and the Carbon Trust and Groundwork Seeks, we were able to become the first carbon net zero museum in East Anglia. We continue to reduce our energy and water use and our waste and output, and to champion net zero carbon to our audiences and to the culture and heritage sector.
The Bilderston Crown is a 15th century 3AA restaurant, hotel and bar, owned and managed by Nedging Hall Estate. The Bilderston Crown is the ultimate estate-to-plate concept with produce grown in our gardens at Nedging Hall, less than a mile away. Executive Chef Freddie Fallon, Head Chef Vicky Tolfrey and their team work closely with local suppliers and Nedging Hall Estate's gardening team to create seasonal menus. We're proud to grow many of our own vegetables, fruits and herbs in our kitchen garden. Nedging Hall Estate grows its own barley on the farm, which is sent to our very own Maldon's Brewery. And we also have a no-dig flower farm at Nedging Hall, which allows us to grow all the flowers for the tables in the restaurant.
Our nominees in this category. So, David, there you go. It's over to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so inspired to be here today and so proud on behalf of all my colleagues at the New Wolsey Theatre to be part of this great event and to sponsor this tourism award. As we all know, Suffolk is a brilliant place to live in, but it's also a fantastic place to come and visit. And both of these organisations have done such brilliant work with their environmental commitments, but there can be only one winner. And the winner is the Long Shop Museum.
The Long Shop Museum. Want to say a few words in front of the microphone there? Go on, get in there.
Well, apparently my original recording for this was way over time, so there's no telling how it's going now.
What time's the last bus? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think you heard on the introduction, the Garrett family, the Longshot Museum site was a steam engine site, and it's kind of bizarre to be here collecting an award like that when you consider the kind of the heritage. But the work they did to be innovative, to conquer the world in terms of agricultural change, making the best use of the land and the materials around them, is an inspiration to the staff and volunteers. And that's why we're really proud of this, and being carbon neutral has been so important to us. And it's great because we can tell that story to all our visitors, so everyone that comes to the site can get a chance to see how things were in the past and learn about electric vehicles, which were around 100 years ago and being made in Suffolk. And if you want to know more, come and see us. And taking the opportunity for a plug, Tom, you mentioned books. Look out for the Longshot book. There's a day out in Leiston, a book that's coming out in the next few weeks, and you better see more about our history and more about the town. So yeah, we look forward to welcoming you as visitors.
Fantastic. It's a great place to go. Congratulations. While Paul does his magic with the photograph, the panel was impressed by the works to improve heating, lighting and insulation, an achievement that's enabled them to be the first carbon net zero museum in East Anglia, a huge achievement in such an old building. But what made the entry stand out further was the way visitors were engaged. The museum successfully uses the exhibits and building to encourage visitors to think about historic energy use and environmental impact and the opportunities to do things differently going forward. Well done. Congratulations to the Longshot Museum in Leiston. And would you welcome onto stage as well for the highly commended entry, it is the Bilderstone Crown. Well done. Congratulations to the Bilderstone Crown. Well done. And it looks like we've only got one award left on the table, so we must be getting near to the end. But aren't they fantastic looking awards as well? They are absolutely beautiful things to win. So we're now going to find our green hero. The sponsor for the award is Damien Kerry from Barnes Construction. Come and join us, Damien. Where are you? Down the front. So I think, fingers crossed, we should see our nominees. Aren't they a good-looking bunch? You have to smile and say yes, because they might be sitting next to you. So, fantastic. Now, we've so many heroes already that we've celebrated today. Our 9 nominees have already been recognised by friends and colleagues for their hard work, expertise and commitment. Now, we shared all their great work and opened it up to a public vote in which, wait for it, over 1,100 people took part and voted for their green hero, which is staggering. Just goes to show the commitment of so many different people. So who has won is the big question. Damien.
No video? No? Okay, thanks. Well, thanks for having us again. We've been here for a few years now supporting this event. It's wonderful to be back. So thanks again. But the winner is David Appleton.
David Appleton. This year's Green Hero. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm honoured to win this award, particularly in the light of such fierce and fantastic competition. The Suffolk Black Poplar project is the result of a real partnership working between a whole host of people, particularly the Suffolk Tree Warden Network, Sue Hooton, the County Recorder, Suffolk Biodiversity Information Service, who run the database for black poplars, Emma Black of Dedham Vale ANOB, and Liam Judd of Nowton Park, who runs the nursery in particular. And without them, the project wouldn't work. And the project is now going European, it's going national, we've become part of a national black poplar project, and also part of a European black poplar project. So it's really expanding beyond Suffolk. And while I'm here, I'm just going to bang one drum, if I may, while I've got the microphone. This country has the biggest, finest and most important collection of ancient and veteran trees in Europe. Many of those are black poplars, but particularly oaks and ash and other really important trees. There is almost no legal protection for those trees nationally. Unless a tree has a tree preservation order, of which there are very few, these trees are open to abuse and destruction by almost anybody who wants to cut them down, frankly. We value ancient buildings rightly in this country. If you put the wrong windows in a 700-year-old house, somebody will come down on you like a ton of bricks. If you cut down a 700-year-old tree that isn't subject to a TPO, nothing happens. That is a disgrace. And we all need to campaign together in this room to change that. As I say, we do have the best collection of ancient and veteran trees in this country in Europe, and we need to preserve them.
Well said.
Thank you very much.
Well, let me tell you a bit more about David's achievements. David has shown significant commitment and dedication, as you heard there, to saving something rare and precious to Suffolk, and that's the native black poplar, Britain's rarest native timber tree. With support from the Suffolk Tree Warden Network, David decided he would assist with managing and diversifying the Dedham Vale National Landscape and Nowton Park clone banks, propagate new male and female trees via cuttings, distribute those new trees via various local groups, update the Suffolk Biodiversity Information Service database with new data, enabling future generations to locate specific trees for propagation or for research. Come rain or shine, David was outside distributing, planting and surveying the trees. During the winter 2022-23, David grew and distributed over 130 saplings. In winter 2023-24, David established a black poplar nursery and more than 250 saplings were grown and distributed. That, everybody, is the definition of a green hero. David, congratulations. Well done. And maybe Tom Heap, that will feature on one of your podcasts, perhaps. He's nodding away down the front there, no pressure. You'll kick me after. We also want to honour the rest of our nominees, and would you please all come and join us to the front, and a big round of applause as they come and join us. Adrian Cooper, Debbie Bartlett, Frederick Cook, John Owen, Libby Ranzetta, Linda Grave, Matthew Applegate and Rachel Kellitz. Come and join us. Well done. Many congratulations for all the work you do. So we are nearly at the end. We have one last speaker. Would you welcome back to stage Councillor Richard Rout, Deputy Leader and Cabinet Member for Finance and Environment at Suffolk County Council, to officially close our awards this afternoon. Richard.
Thank you all so much for attending this afternoon, and thank you, Mark. First, I must stress it was never intended that you should all endure listening to me speak quite so many times today. Nobody, even our environment team, would want to inflict that on you. But sadly, the leader of the council, Matthew Hicks, and our chief executive, Nicola Beach, were called into another meeting, and they just wanted me to send their apologies for not being here today. The good news is that it's just me standing between you and your food, just thanking all those people that need to be thanked. But on a serious note, these awards are always an uplifting experience, one that leaves you feeling brighter about the future of our county, country and planet. So if you came into the room feeling a little bit gloomy today, or even if you didn't, I hope that the inspirational stories that you've seen and heard today and the inspirational organisations and individuals that you've heard about give you renewed hope for the future of our environment. This is my 6th year with responsibility for Suffolk's environment, and it's probably the worst kept secret amongst the team that I'll be stepping back from this role in May. When I look back over those 6 years, I'm so proud of what we've achieved, not least bringing back these awards as a regular event that recognise all of the great work that you do. And this excellent work that the council has delivered has sometimes been through political and financial headwinds, and that we've weathered them is in no small part due to the excellent team at the county council. And this is an opportunity for me to say thank you to them, the fact that they have and continue to give me hope and faith in our public sector day after day. So a huge thank you to them. They are phenomenal. I must also thank our judges, who are experts from many different organisations, and I think they're up there behind me now. So thank you to our judges. Also to our sponsors for today, Milestone, McCann, Barnes Construction, Sewers Recycling, the University of Suffolk, Warm Pro Insulation Specialists, Aspel, the New Wolsey Theatre, Spring Marketing, Suffolk Chamber of Commerce and Suffolk Climate Change Partnership. Of course, the brilliant Mark Murphy, for hosting today. Mark has been a long-time supporter of these awards, and Suffolk is very, very fortunate to have him. Thank you to the project team, Chloe Robertson-Smith and Josie Taylor, who have organised the event, supported by colleagues at the council. Also to Gail Bushell for designing and handcrafting the trophies that have been gaining so much attention today. Do please check out Gail's company, and it's called Gail's Glass, so easy to remember. Huge thanks also to the inspirational Tom Heap for being our keynote speaker. Thank you so much, Tom. But most of all, thank you to all of you. Congratulations once again to all of our nominees and winners. You make Suffolk a better place, and together you are giving us all a cleaner and brighter future. So thank you to you.
Thank you, Richard. I've been in broadcasting for over 30 years, and I've seen initiatives come, and I've seen initiatives go pretty quickly. And when the Creating the Greenest County initiative was launched all those years ago, I thought, I wonder if that will last. I hope it does, and it has. And I'm really pleased that it has. So thank you, Richard, and the team and everybody behind the awards. It's really special to be here. I'm sure you'll all agree, and long may it continue. As I said right at the start, please go away and shout about what you've seen and heard today. See it all over social media. Talk to your friends, encourage them to do the right thing. It's the little things that make a difference. When you're looking at the big wide world in the way that Tom was talking about earlier on, it can seem really quite daunting, can't it? You think, oh, I don't know what to do, I can't do anything. But we can all do a little something. And if we all did a little something, create a hedgehog hole in the garden, put some food out for it, pick up some litter. If we all did that, then it would make a huge difference. And I hope one day that we will become the greenest county. And I think, Tom, you'll agree we're well on the way to that with these awards. So well done, and give yourselves a massive round of applause for all you do. Final bit of housekeeping before we get the refreshments. Thank you, as I said, for coming. Drinks and nibbles are now being served outside in the foyer. Winners, though, you'll have to wait a little bit longer. We need you to remain in the auditorium for one last official big group photo. And Tom's happy to stay behind as well, chat to you, autographs, selfies, photographs, all of that kind of thing as well. I shall be first in the queue. Don't forget to drop your badges off before you leave. And please don't rash off. Chat to the judges, chat to each other, and pat all of each other's successes on the back, because you've done brilliantly today. Thanks very much. Winners, please stay behind. And thank you very much for coming. Thank you.